Okay, it's recording. What's up, guys? My name is Fam Studios, and welcome to the Beginner's Guide, Part 1. Now, why are we playing this game? Hold on, I gotta turn the light. It is very dark in this room. Hold on. Okay. Why are we playing this game? Out of all games, and out of all games to return to your making videos thing to, why this game? Now, a while ago, we played the Stanley Parable. Now, I might actually have to replay the Stanley Parable because that series sucked. And, it's crap audio, blah, blah, blah. And basically, my uncle's like, hey, nephew, have my PC, it's powerful as all hell, it can run Cyberpunk and stuff. And I'm like, poggers. And here we are now, we're playing Beginner's Guide, and OBS, and it took me 5 hours to figure out, what the hell I'm supposed to do in OBS. First time using OBS,
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing the...
Okay, well, I know I'm probably gonna get like, thanks, but okay, advanced options, give me subtitles. Yeah, subtitles. Please. Come on. Audio. There we go, full captions.
Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011.
The subtitles are not even there.
We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just...
The subtitles don't work. Well, they lied to me.
Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator.
Why is that glass?
It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this?
Probably a lot of things.
This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is.
It's probably a person.
And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda.
Okay.
So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
It's a minigame collection. Oh boy. I love minigames.
Why not? Whisper machine active.
God.
Ship destruction imminent.
God.
This game is called Escape from Whisper,
Oh,
and it's one of the
subtitles.
more generic games you'll see from
I
Coda.
can actually talk. Yes. It's not Corsair.
Hey guys, welcome back to my Halo Master Chief Collection video. Now today,
Security call
we're gonna
breached.
do
Hostile
something.
alien life
I'm gonna
form.
shoot my gun. Jesus Christ.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Please, like.
Enemy force neutralized.
Oh.
Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, nice skybox you got there, mate. Okay, so. I know there's a maze. We're gonna speed run this maze. You know, we're gonna have to, like.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it. Okay, this is the part that's
We
interesting.
lost our gun.
The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Okay.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the Whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam.
Okay.
It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
No. No! Get me out of here. Is there like a secret ending where we can like just pick the game? I gotta check if the thing's still recording. Yes it is. Yes, we are still recording. Okay, thank God I have the.
This is not a branching point, unfortunately. Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere.
Okay.
And this is what happens instead.
Hey look, it's the answer to the labyrinth. Okay. Well, 30
The beam
seconds.
causes you to start floating.
And
And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a
Go there,
glitch,
go there,
but
go
Coda
there, go there,
identifies
go
something
there.
human about it. Like how small it makes you feel
Oh.
in the face of
Oh.
this larger chaotic system.
what spaceship
Or this floating
looks
could
like
be the
this?
afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all
Why
of the
is there no
hysteria that you've
texture
just had to
for the
traverse.
ground?
I don't even know. I have no idea
Oh.
what he was thinking,
Oh.
but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions.
It's a mini
Let's
game
go ahead and take a
collection.
look at the first game he made after leaving this one
He
behind.
made a mini game. It's a mini game collection full of. What the hell? Okay. The past was. But I can't move forward.
Yep. In this game, you can only walk
I
backwards.
can only walk backwards. It's kind of cringe. Okay, we got like. It's kind of like. I feel like this is like. I feel like this is like symbolism for
So it's a short
But
and
the
relatively
future
minimalist experiment
cannot be
combining
seen.
motion
Why
and
does the
narrative.
future keep changing?
It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more
Shut up!
complete.
I'm trying to
Code
read.
is trying to give it a unique voice rather than
Jesus,
simply
no,
basing
no,
it on a
what the
pre-existing
hell?
trope.
Whoa. Whoa. But the future's always behind her. How will she see the strength to comfort it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need
Okay.
anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick.
Yeah.
Okay, next one.
That one seems to have that one seems to have symbolism, and now we're playing bootleg Slenderman. Except, oh god, guys, from Slenderman.
Welcome to my Slenderman Let's Play.
Except you can literally walk forwards and backwards. You can't.
And that's it.
But
Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
It's like, okay, what was the symbolism behind that game?
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles
in
like this
every
one at the start of
direction.
his games.
What the hell?
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna
look
do?
at these untextured stairs. I feel like we're gonna.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Now, okay, we're gonna be here for a little while. I'm gonna okay, let's just wee. Oh! Holy. Oh, that's too much stuff to read. Oh god. Sharks trying to eat you, waiting for us to
A
find.
room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
You are best idea. You are a gate.
Coda would often tell me that he didn't
Yes!
mind if people thought of him as cold or distant.
Oh god.
He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
Symbolism. This game is full of symbolism now. What's for that door? I feel like there's more. Ready, set, fish. There better be some foot. I don't see any fish. Ready, set, fish. I don't. This looks like. Okay, this looks like one of those like early chapter 5. Jesus Christ. This looks like you know, like back in the Half-Life 1 days when people would like mod Half-Life 1. Yeah, this looks like one of those Half-Life 1 mods levels that we're doing now, even that's the same texture. Textures. Oh,
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle.
an actual puzzle.
Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Close the door. There's not a lever. I might have.
Don't forget that solution,
Oh.
because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
See,
We're
the
gonna
thing
see it
is,
a lot.
I might have not played this game a few years ago already, so I'm just being experienced in the game. For some reason I still don't know what the solution to that is.
So that seems to be it, right?
Yeah.
You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough.
We have achieved
All right,
our goals in
now I'm
life.
going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Okay. What?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing.
How?
I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
To be going with it and post big chunkers. Oh, we're back to welcome back to Let's Play. Welcome back to part 100 of my Slenderman Let's. Oh, we're now at.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
But we can't think about now. We're going to March Tree. The Great and the Lonely Descent. Lovely Descent. Someone's been on the Unity Asset Store. Look at that. Look at that. It's just like
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
So it's been on the Unity Asset Store. Look at this. This looks like
to make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors.
I know.
That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
I speedrunned it.
The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors. This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Nah.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
It's the three holes from earlier. Oh boy.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over.
Probably because it's like
I promise
simple.
I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
It's probably because it's like short, easy, gets to the point, you know. Text.
Here, Coda begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities.
That's right.
Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
I just did. No, I don't want This is very deep. 14-year-old white girls be crying
And so we
right
make one
now.
last descent down to the final floor of the level.
It's the
It's a
lamppost from the
lamppost.
beginning of the game.
Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost.
Because it's
It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out.
oh, cool.
I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point,
Am I still recording? I am still recording. We've been recording for 20 minutes.
you know, he's been making really
Oh.
strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're gonna see it in the work as well. His games are just gonna become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Look at the grass. Oh god. April. The game is connected to the as you walk around, you leave notes. Well, notes you left players. I can't leave a note. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Chapter select. What chapter? We are on chapter 8. Notes. That has been. Yeah. I don't know if you can actually see that, but like, basically, if I ever want to stream, this is gonna be like the main screen is. That has been the beginner's guide. If you want to play this for yourself, it's on Steam as well as the Stanley Parable. Yeah, I want to make more videos. I want to do some Half-Life 2 mods as a regular thing, because I have Half-Life 2 and all that, all the other Half-Life 2s. Not Half-Life 1 though. I want to get Half-Life 1 and just have a stream where we play the entire game, but like it's the text-to-speech version. Anyways, so I'm gonna head out and arrivederci.